Hey, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome. It is training day, and we are excited, very excited. It's toughness in telephone, and I got a doozy for us, waiting for us. If you haven't registered, come to 949-298-2905 or just email me, David at dmeltzer.com. We'll get you registered. Of course, you can go to dmeltzer.com/training. Good to see everyone today. Love Fridays. I do, not because that I believe there's an end or beginning to a week, but because I get to do training and it's the closest I come to feeling the empowerment of 1,000 people to empower 1,000. Good morning, Coleen. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're enjoying it. Justin, good to see you as well. Let's pin up where people can register real quick. It's 11 a.m. Pacific time today, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Got some great guests coming on here today. Oh, there we go. I'm back. There we go. All right. Anyway, welcome. David Prince, great to see you. There's Team David Meltzer. What do you know? They always show up. There we go. Pin that there for everybody in case you want to join us today. All right. Blessings to everybody. Let's see. We don't have no questions in there, so I'm trying to get my team to be on the same page. Pin things up. Questions. It's something we do every day. Let's see what we got going on. So make sure we got plenty of questions from people, and looking to see who wants to go. Alex, the match man. Missed your phone call. I thought you were going to call me this morning. I had texted you. What's going on? Huh? David, will I receive an email after registering? Yes, you will. If you have registered, you will receive an email with a link to come and register. Labib, good to see you. Unbelievable time yesterday. I even told people to go to the IG live yesterday. That trick you did with two numbers off was not trick, perception, right? He's a perceptionist. So Alex did not get your call. Call me back after this. I'll be more than happy to help you. Jennifer, how about we join you? Let me get you on here. Hi,
Hey, David.
how are you?
Oh, such a great morning. At least, I mean, it's hot as all AF over here. I'm in the Bay Area and it's,
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
yeah.
Well, you and I have very similar backgrounds. I love people that are resilient, and resiliency is absolutely a quality that I'm looking for during these compressed times of uncertainty. You're someone that has, gone all in. You have a desire to must be what you can be. Uh, you have reinvented. I only say reinvented. You found your skills and applied your skills, knowledge, and desire in different industries and been successful. And you're willing to risk it all. You're kind of like the
Yep.
great show woman.
Thanks. I think, you know what? That's probably the best summary of who I am that I've heard yet. So I love that you get right to it.
Birds of a feather flock together. I just started reading and reading and reading. I'm like, oh my gosh, her and I should be best friends. We've been through, I say pain is an indicator they have lessons to learn. You and I have learned a lot of lessons. Going through that, what are some of the lessons you have learned about resiliency and how to apply your capabilities, synergistic, supplementary, align them to opportunities that exist today without stumbling on the roadblocks behind you?
I think that the number one thing is consistency. Consistency isn't sexy sometimes, but it's what makes you money and impact no matter what. I think that consistency goes with resiliency because if you're consistent, then it's like I always say, I was in the corporate world for over a decade, successful there, left because I felt like I had zero autonomy over my life. And then I left and made a huge mistake. But I look back and say, there's no mistakes, there's only lessons, right? So I started a retail company, even though my background was in sales, marketing, and strategy, because I thought as an entrepreneur back then that I had to start something completely new in order to be successful instead of actually going with what was my skill set. And I could have derived, when I look back, if I were to go back, I would say, gosh, I would just become a sales, marketing, and branding consultant at the time. But instead I did retail and had all that overhead. But why I was successful in it, even though it crashed in 2008 with the Great Recession, is because I was consistent showing up every day. I think, David, I follow you too. And I love especially how you get people on the phone, because if you're willing to do what you don't like doing and develop a skill and a craft under that machine that can power up what you want, then I'm a big, like, let's try it every single day. And I think a lot of people don't do that, but it's not because you can't. It's a teachable skill to show up every day. It's like, if you want to get bigger muscles, you go to the gym, right? If you want to get better at entrepreneurship, you jump on the phone, or you put yourself on a live stream, to tell your story or whatever. So I think for me, my biggest thing is consistency, because I actually believe people don't buy content or even courses or programs or your products. They buy your consistency. They buy that you showed up and that they can see that you're committed, and that creates trust, and then that creates authority. And so people don't link consistency to authority a lot, but that's actually, I think, the heart of it. And again, it's not the sexy part, because people want the outcome, but they don't want the machine or the work that has to go into it. So
I think you nailed it right there, because it's not sexy and people attach their emotions to the outcome. And
yeah,
I would love to see your perspective on faith, because one of the things that, as I'm developing, my own brand and teaching, and consistency has been, the backbone of what I have over talent, right? What do they say that, a consistent person without talent will always outperform a non-person. But there's faith is intertwined, because if you don't attach your emotions to an outcome, number one, that takes faith. And then two, not seeing, incrementally any progress, so that we consistently feel stuck, but to keep on persevering and being resilient, even though we don't see the gain, and
yeah,
that's where dieting and working out, to me, epitome of faithful consistency, because
yes,
body, mind, and soul, they don't work that way. And so, and then it's a great way to see the exponential results, because if you stick to working out, it seems like overnight, all of a sudden. And have you heard my lily pond example?
no, I haven't.
Let me just give it to you real quick, then I want
Yeah,
your insight on the faith. So a lily, the little pads that sit on a pond, they double in size every day. And so if you had a goal, a pond, and I told you that, it takes 30 days for the lilies to cover the pond, most people think the pond would be halfway full at 15 days. Most of the people, that's the way their mind works. And they also think that they'd be able, just like in a pond, that they'd see the growth, so that day one they'd see one, and day two they see two, and then four, then eight, right? Because it keeps doubling every day. The problem is, and this is where faith comes in mind, and you know this by dieting and working out, you don't see anything until like day 28, because
yeah,
at day 28 you're 25% of the way full, right? And that's usually where our dumb senses and our stupider memories can pick up on some actual quantitative growth. But just like a lily pond, people expect, oh, I've been working 15 days and I should be halfway there. No, 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 no. And sometimes it's 30 years, not 30 days, right? And so they're
correct.
prepared to go and see nothing after 15 years. But in year 28, and I see this all the time with consistent people, in year 28, they see, wow, I'm 25% of the way there. And then year 29, they're 50%. And then year 30, they're 100%. And year 31, they're 200%. This is where faith comes in. What to you, number one, intertwines faith within the consistency? And two, what gives you your faith?
Yeah, great question. You know, I think lack of faith, or when you start losing faith or belief in yourself because you're not seeing the results immediately, because that's how we're built, right? As we want, to your point, we want to see it. And then I love that lily pond metaphor. I've never thought of it that way. So talking about how I use faith and how I see faith and consistency is part of the problem why we don't stay in it is because we have these voids and violations from our past, to your point about being emotional, that we link to our success in life, and not just in business, but in our life. Because I actually believe there aren't any business problems, because there's an answer for everything to fix a business problem, whether it's a mentor, a course, Google. The problem is the personal issues, to your point, of not dealing with the voids and violations, I call them, in your life that's happened in the past. Even if you had an upset in your career at some point that got you stuck, or maybe you even got divorced or a relationship didn't work out. And these are little, I always say, like, most things where we stop doing is not by like this rock that hit us. It's what I call death by paper cut, right? We all of a sudden we turn around and we've bled out because these little nicks have all the momentum we get, these little fissures in us let the momentum out. We don't even notice that it's fizzled out until we're burnt out or beat up or just frustrated, to your point, 3 days before the 28 days, because maybe the 28th day is your breakthrough or the 28th year is your breakthrough, but we stop because finally we've not taken care of the paper cut that's been opened along the way. And so when I think of faith and how I keep faith, because it's not easy. You know, people always tell me, you're so confident and you just show up every single day. And I'm like, actually, I am mindful and work on that. You know, it's not like, oh, it's automatic, I want to work today. I actually would prefer not to. I mean, I would prefer to go to the beach. I would prefer to chill out. I would prefer to go on a trip right now. That would be amazing if that was possible for me. But the reason I do it is because I've learned to link results to my values, meaning my values in my company and my personal values are autonomy, justice, generosity, leadership, and legacy. And I use them. A lot of people use values as vanity values. They talk about them. They're like, oh, this is what I stand for. But they don't use them as a filter for motivation. I do. I kind of ask myself every single time to decide to show up through my values. So I'm like, is this helping me be more autonomous today? Because without my business, I would be chained to probably a job of some sort, which is something I didn't want, you know, when I left in 2006. So that's always my first question. Does this keep me autonomous, or does the work involved require me to do something so that I can keep my autonomy? My friend Chris Winfield always says, I work really hard to make my life easy, right? And that, I think, is what keeps the faith for me. And then obviously my faith in God. You know, I am a spiritual woman. You know, our family, I do believe in, you know, putting out my intentions and expecting for something or better to happen as a result of that. Like, and to learn how that to have control over your future is to actually release a little bit of control. You know, like, I think control comes from releasing control. And so those are some of the things that I do to stay motivated, to be consistent.
Because for me, my brother's a famous rabbi, and you know, I believe in all religions. I don't want to believe in one dogmatic religion that separates us within the religion and with other religions. That's just my own personal opinion. But moreover, it's a practice of faith. I'm a huge, huge fan of somebody that practices faith, because whatever, you know, the preconceived, factual, dogmatic rules of your own religion are, those are cool. But moreover, I love the fact that you're practicing faith and you're able to show up. And the other thing that you said that's really important, it's the number one thing that I tell people right now. There's like, what should I do? I said, take inventory, right? And what you do is you take inventory every day. And I start with taking inventory of my values, right? And it's under the context of being more interested than interesting. But if you take inventory, especially of your values, and it's not just rhetoric, it's not, you know, I just don't go out preaching and screaming gratitude, empathy, accountability, and effective communication or inspiration. I literally take inventory of my personal, experiential, giving and receiving values every day. How am I applying those 4 pillars to my own values? And most importantly, and I want to hear your opinion on this, I am not afraid of being a hypocrite. I'm not afraid of telling people, you know, in people who have gone bankrupt and lost millions of dollars, we learn we have to make a choice right when it is. It's like people that have been in trouble. Either you illuminate it or you don't live in the truth. You create void, shortages, and obstacles your entire life. And when I learned to not be an overseller, back-end seller, manipulator, cheater, and liar, and I had to grip my greatest fear, losing everything, because my whole defined being was how much money I made. Like everything, like that's what I valued myself at. So when I was able to make that leap of faith and take inventory of my values and tell everybody, you know what, I'm a hypocrite. Money doesn't buy happiness or love. Money, it can be used if shopped for the right things, but I've made some huge mistakes, and I'm humbled by it. That's where my life took off.
Oh my
And
gosh. Yeah.
and so I'd love to hear that illumination, that idea of humility, and most importantly, understanding how you did that, because I'm sure, you were so successful at a young age. You built this multi-million-dollar business. You and I both probably had at least a little bit in your personality defined by what you made, and how illumination and your values portrayed to that.
Dave, I mean, when you were just sharing the little bit of your story right there, I now know exactly why we need to be best friends, because, that's exactly right. In fact, right now I'm running a challenge called the Consistent and Confident Challenge. And yesterday I asked everyone to do what I call an apology story. And people were nervous. Wait, what do I have to say? I said, you need to apologize. This is the story of apologizing. Hey, I've let you down because I've been too afraid to tell you what's really going on with me, or what was holding me back from serving you at the greatest potential I have, because I had shame, and I had assigned my identity to this shame moment in my life. And I love that, because today I woke up and felt so energized by reading all of their apology stories, and them saying this was actually really easy. And I said, the minute you come clean with what's been holding you back is the moment that your truth and your expertise comes through, and people trust you more, because not because you're trying to manipulate through the story, because there's some of that obviously that goes on. I'm sure you experienced that in your own career in life. Knowing your background and even mine, I felt like in the corporate world, actually, especially, I felt like I needed to be shady and political in order to ascend, the corporate ladder. And then I brought some of that residue into my entrepreneurial life, and then realized, when I crashed and burned in 2008, literally lost, my job, every single penny. I was getting sued by the government, and you know, all these lawyers were coming after me, and I lost my house. I had two young kids. I mean, you want to talk about an ego blow. To your point, like when you ascend quickly because you've learned how to work the system for you, uh, you have to unlearn some of that, but still have the hunger to help and support, and be honest and look in the mirror and say, I am okay being ambitious, but I don't need to be ambitious through the lens of manipulation or through the lens of playing another person's game. I can be successful being my game. And to do that, I think you need support, you need community, you need people who will tell you honest to God where you're BSing yourself, especially, rather than even others. Because BSing others comes from BSing ourselves. Leading others comes from leading ourselves, right? It starts with us,
Yeah.
So
So funny that you say that, because I always think about, I consider myself a ferocious Buddha, but you think about this and you're explaining this exactly. Superheroes, superheroes have the kind heart of a baby in a basket, but they have this exterior of a superhero, and superheroes get attacked more than anyone else.
yeah.
Heroes get attacked more. And what I have, a ferocious Buddha to me, is to be a Buddha or a baby in a basket. Nobody's going to attack a baby in a basket sitting on a doorstep. Nobody in the world. The evilest person in the world would never attack a baby in a basket. It's just not going to happen. But yet, can you be a baby in a basket or a Buddha with a ferocious superhero heart, right? And that's what I think both of us went through as a transformation. And we use consistency as our superpower, instead of, like Batman being rich. I used to say Batman was my favorite superhero because his superpower was being rich. I literally would tell people that. And, now consistency is my superpower. And I'm a ferocious Buddha, a baby in a basket with a superhero heart. And so are you. Where can people find you? Join your challenge. You and I are in symbiosis together. I'm sure we'll do much, much more. I'm so glad that you came on this morning.
Yeah, me too. I am so enjoying this conversation, and thank you, Dave. Yeah, you can find me here on Instagram. Obviously, follow me, please, at jennifer.kem. And then I have a free a gift. We use, I teach branding. I teach you how to build an expert online brand. And so we have an assessment that helps you develop your brand personality and be able to communicate with truth and honesty and consistency and confidence. And so if you want that, you can go to masterbrand.me/David. masterbrand.me/David.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you'll join me later today for my training on phone. A lot of them are consistent in what you were talking about earlier as well. It's going to be one of my favorites. Have a wonderful weekend if I don't talk to you. And let's do this again, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Totally. Thanks, Dave. Have a great one. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Wow. 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 I saw Jennifer Gottlieb on there. She's with me. Wow. Awesome conversation. Unbelievable. The people that we get on here to share their insight, to transcode the similarities and the commonalities of people that are purposeful, passionate, and profitable in what they do. And we're going to teach that today: purpose, profit, and passionate through toughness and telephone. 11 a.m. today, Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Just join me. Text me 949-298-2905. Email me. It's all free. If you want my book, by the way, the same place. Just go ahead, email me, david@dmeltzer.com, dmeltzer.com, 949-298-2905 if you like using the telephone for texting. That works as well. Yeah, that one was amazing. Peter Barsom, are you here? Let me take a quick question. I don't see Peter in here. Let me just double check real quick. I do see him. Sorry. That's good. Going here. Keep it moving. Going right back from consistency into the new highs. I'm so curious about this industry. Peter, how are you?
Great, David. Really nice to be with you.
Terrific to have you here. And, you're with 1906 new highs and what you're doing in CBD and cannabis. I think out of all the entrepreneurs, I think we have 3 million entrepreneur subscribers with Entrepreneur and Elevator Pitch and the Playbook. The number one industry that entrepreneurs are interested in is your industry, and you have really created quite a perspective in business with, I think, understanding how to distinguish yourself in the market and how to be profitable. Can you share with me kind of the journey that you've had, as well as your perspective on where the business is going?
Yeah, cannabis is an exciting industry. I mean, to think that we are coming out of prohibition and people are getting access to one of nature's best plant medicines is amazing. My story, David, I was a 20-year financial services executive, holding a variety of senior management positions. And in 2014, I left the financial industry to start 1906. And it was started on the belief that cannabis is one of the most versatile plant medicines that's known to man. But we could see that people like us, high-functioning adults, needed better alternatives to alcohol and big pharma as they navigate the demands of daily life. And we knew that cannabis could help, but in order for the world to discover the plant's true potential as a daily tool for self-care, we'd have to transform much of the way people were experiencing it. So if you think about it, cannabis today, the way it's consumed, hasn't changed much in the last hundreds of years. We still smoke it by and large. And as we all know, smoking is not necessarily the best method for consuming anything. And there weren't really good alternatives for people to integrate cannabis into their daily life. So we started 1906 on the belief that we could revolutionize self-care, that you give people alternatives to alcohol and big pharma, and we're excited to be on this journey.
And one of the things that we were talking about, consistency with Jennifer. One of the things with edibles, and I know you guys use even cocoa in the edibles and the mixture, is that edibles are inconsistent, right? One of the fears we'll have is the inconsistency of edibles compared to smoking. A lot of people find it more consistent. What are you guys doing, or is that an issue? And if so, I know that you have accolades on accolades for what you're able to do with your product. Is that one of the things that you're able to address?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest issues with cannabis, number one, a lot of people don't want to feel high. They just want to feel a particular way. Give me relief from pain, help me with my anxiety, help me with something sleep. So it's actually a very small segment of consumers that actually want to just get high. And for those that don't, it's all about having a consistent effect and also fast acting. The two critical problems that we solved when we launched 1906. And we did that first by using other plant medicines along with cannabis to deliver a specific effect, so that we have a product for love, which is for arousal. We have a product for sleep called Midnight. We have a product for energy called Go. We have a product for cognitive focus called Genius, which is my personal favorite. And then the second element is fast acting, because look, I'm a New Yorker. I believe impatience is a virtue, and you shouldn't have to wait 60 to 90 minutes for anything to kick in. So by solving these two big problems, give me something that's fast acting and give me something that delivers a specific effect, we've really transformed the way cannabis is consumed today.
Well, just the fact, I mean, the fact that we could talk about cannabis in the same set, these things, go, focus, genius, right? I mean, you're sitting there and I'm like, wait a second, I thought people that use cannabis were, you know, broke, sick, sleeping on their mom's couch with a bag of potato chips stuck in their armpit. And now you're telling me that you've been able to not only create a product with CBD cannabis that, you know, get focus, genius, and go. The sleep thing, I believe. The sleep thing, but focus, genius, and go. And not only is it consistent, but it's very fast acting. Yeah, you know, that's a huge jump. That's a huge distinction in the marketplace. And so what's your biggest challenge? Because it seems like to me, with a product like that, you know, the world is your oyster. What's your biggest challenge then for distributing and marketing it so that everybody knows about, at least in my opinion, those three things: the go, the genius, and the focus?
Yeah, and Genius is our focus product. So Love is so this is our Genius product.
The love,
You know, our
sleep. That I have even that works.
we
But the
all
other
we
incredible.
all need more. We all need more love in our life, and some more genius, right? Who doesn't need
Yeah,
that? You know, our biggest challenge is the fact that it's still federally illegal, and so we can't distribute across state lines. We have to set up operations to manufacture our product in each individual state. So that creates a lot of need for capital. It creates a lot of complexity. And it's unfortunate that people can't have access to the highest quality medicine that's available. We'd love to be able to sell our products online, and sure enough, someday that prohibition will end and people will have access to what it is that they need.
yeah. The pendulum is definitely learning that way. One of the other interesting things is I'm a branding and marketing, a business strategist, you know, executive coach, and I analyze businesses all day long. One of the things that I see in your business, at least personally for me, is I see the love product would cannibalize the sleep product, because I wouldn't need to buy both. The minute I buy the love product, I sleep. So be careful. Make sure you market those separately. I the genius and love together to sleep on a different marketing spectrum. Just a free advice from Dave Meltzer, executive coach. Anyway,
Thank you, Dave.
since there is segregated distribution, marketing has its challenges. And as we both know too, on the commerce side, there's still some banking challenges whenever we are fighting the federal regulations. It makes it more difficult to be able to actually, you know, accept credit cards and have credit and other things that are very
Yeah.
interesting. You know, the pendulum swinging. There's no doubt where the trend's going with CBD, cannabis, and gambling, by the way, all on the same trajectory. But where can people find these extraordinary products if they're looking for them?
So today we're available in Colorado dispensaries, and we'll be opening up in 4 other states over the coming months. So stay tuned to our Instagram channel as we make 1906 available in other markets. I mean, what's amazing, Dave, is we get literally hundreds of emails and direct messages from people asking, where can I find 1906 in California, in New York, in Florida? Just stay tuned. We're coming soon.
I'm on the U.S. Olympic board, and so I get to Colorado. This COVID thing has put a niche in me, so I definitely will have to come there and try that out and see exactly how it works. I love to do things.
We'd love to host you in our facility. I mean, in addition to our press tablets, we have a chocolate factory. So it's like coming to see the Willy Wonka of weed. We're right out in Denver. We make peanut butter cups, chocolate covered coffee beans, and our newest product line, which are our drops press tablets. So we would love to host you.
I'm coming. You got the Willy Wonka of weed. That's incredible. Genius, focus, love, of course, sleep, and the other attributes that everyone already knows. But an incredible product, an incredible company. And I can't wait to see where we are a decade from now because of people like Peter. Peter, thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you soon in Colorado.
Thank you, Dave. Look forward to seeing you as well.
Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Making major progress in a very, 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 very popular industry. Very profitable and positive. Don't forget today, toughness and telephone. I'm telling you, these are the two distinctive things that we need right now. People need to be tough. They got to learn how to truly use a telephone in all its ways it was built. And we're going to get into that today to create passion, purpose, and profit in your life, to enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Great guest so far. As always, eclectic guests. We're trying to get these lessons across. We've got a lot of things running up, and I know we got one more person want to come on, another podcaster, Aaron, and we'll look for you there when you come on. Please, let's take a quick question. I haven't got to as many of the questions. Sir, what should be the ultimate goal of life? Happiness. Happiness is the greatest virus ever created. It spreads simply by witnessing it. It strengthens you in all aspects of your life: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, financial, all of them. It actually will strengthen your immune system to protect you against everything else. So without a doubt, the ultimate goal of this life is to accelerate, expand, and grow. In other words, enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential in this lifetime. In other words, be happy. Happy, happy, happy. Do you write personal notes all the time? I write. And the memory, remember, I don't trust my memory. So I make sure joy, joy, joy. Yes, joy, happiness. I have to transcode. You're exactly right. Joy has a higher frequency than happiness, but a lot of people will not understand the difference between the two. So I use the more common terminology. But yes, joy, joy, joy. How can I get out of the habit of putting faith in the negative? Got to control, cancel, clear, connect. You've got to control, surround yourself with the right people, the right ideas. You have to raise your awareness and identify when things are bleeding you. We talked about with Jennifer, she talked about you can death by paperclip. That's exactly the definition of why people don't see that incremental progress or egression, meaning they don't see people bleeding them because it's just like little paper cut after little. Pretty soon they're bled to death, and they wonder why they're not in a position to empower others to be happy or joyous. Very, very good. Looking for Aaron. Are you on here, my friend? I'll take another quick question while we wait. How did you lose all your money and get it back when people never see that in their lifetimes? First of all, I lost my money because I didn't take inventory of my values. I did not ask and attract. I did not ask people how they can help me and use them to help me. I didn't allow people to make an investment in me. I wasn't a student of my calendar. I didn't pay attention to and give intention to the coincidences I wanted. I didn't do things now. And most importantly, I didn't practice ending fear. I created interference, corrosion to all that I was already connected to. And when I learned that it wasn't a matter of giving so I could receive, that the universe wasn't in a world of not enough, where I was a victim, or just enough, where I was buying things I didn't need to impress people I didn't like, but I shifted the paradigm and live in a world of more than enough, allowing things to come through me for others. I was now receiving to give. I still, consistent, persistent pursuit of my potential, but I allowed things to happen. I detached my emotions from an outcome. Please join me on Friday for my training, because these are the things that we talk about. How do we, right, grow, stabilize, and recover, depending on what circumstances you're in, but create the coincidences that we want. Coincidence is a mathematical occurrence. It's not luck. It's paying attention and giving intention to what you want. Using pragmatic things at this pragmatic world is very easy. 11 a.m. today, I will be on. If you don't get the training, go go to the replays, right? I'll give you my book for free. I'll give you the guides for free. I'll give you the training for free. Just go ahead, reach out, david@dmeltzer.com, or 949-298-2905 is my text. Personally, just have some consideration, patience for me, but I will get back to you. Here we go. There we go. My man, I found you. Aaron, sorry to make you wait, but we got you on here. There we go.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
hey, David. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
I love your hat, by the way. I'm a hat guy.
Thank you.
Very, very cool. Well, Aaron, you obviously have great content yourself and a great brand growing. We're going to be talking about today toughness and telephone. And I actually think, I've learned some lessons listening to within your own truth and within your own time and truth. What are some of the key things that you're looking at in just the people's transgression of being tough? Like, what does tough mean to you? How important is it to be tough? Well, I wanted to start there because you talked to so many.
Sure. Yeah, it's a great question. I would actually tie that back to one of the lessons that you teach, which is all about, finding your own frequency. Because when you find your own frequency, you kind of tune out everything around you, which increases your toughness.
Yeah, it's interesting because someone asked me about Gary Vaynerchuk and me about we don't let people bother us. Like we're always and we vote for what we want. Look, I have to be honest. I things people say bug me. Like they hurt my feelings. They hurt my feelings. They do. And the difference is they used to hurt my feelings for longer. And I really want you to hear me out on this because I think Gary's the same way. He'll say, "Oh, F this and forget that guy. I don't care what they think." I don't think that's humanly possible. I don't, because we're all connected, right? A tree doesn't have any branches. One branch goes to war against another branch, it hurts. So when someone has an attacking thought or an idea that is not synergistic or supplementary to my positivity, it hurts my feelings. It hurts my feeling of goodness and happiness. It damages it. Well, what really people should focus in on is how quickly do I get back to feeling good? And instead of thinking, oh my God, how does Dave Meltzer not care that, he has a hater hating on him or this happened in his life? Like, why? No. It hurts my feelings. And I think what happens is we're allowing people to have their feelings hurt for too long. We're not teaching them to recover and feel good. We're allowing them to have this, why me attitude instead of, I was born in Akron, Ohio with a single mom and 6 kids. And what I witnessed was a try me attitude, right? My mom didn't wake up. The only time my mom cried was when she felt she was not going to be able to provide for her children. Only time I saw my mom in a negative light, even as tough as it was. And then people thought my mom was tough, doing that. And what I realized was what my mom was really good at was feeling good when all the stuff was happening to him. What are some of the things that you've learned from your podcast and in your business about people recovering or having a try me attitude?
Oh, it's a great question. The first thing that comes to mind is just to be unconditional. And that really means going within yourself and becoming very clear about what your goals are and what your own frequency really is, because identifying your own frequency, I actually just watched your TED Talk again, and you talk about finding your own frequency. And when you do that, kind of the outside world, you're not so reactive, right? You're so clear on your own frequency and your own truth. And I love how you say that the truth travels the fastest, right? Even faster than the speed of light. So, I would say to be unconditional, to be unconditionally honoring your own truth first, that then the outside world doesn't affect you. And then you start to attract the people and the circumstances and the experiences that actually enhance your own truth.
And what do you say to people that say that, I don't know my truth? How do I find my truth? How do I find my frequency? What do you help those people, or how do you help them find it?
Oh, wow. Another great question. I would have to say, come back to the emotion. What's that?
Instead of 3 for 3 on the great questions, but who's counting?
For sure. I would say come back to what feels good. For me, I grew up in sports. I grew up playing sports, and I played beach volleyball on the pro circuit for a little bit, and now doing this podcast, which is all about inspired living for athletes. you know, I love competition. Obviously, winning is great, but just being out there and being so present in the moment makes me feel alive. So whatever that is for you, find what makes you feel alive, and then kind of go down that path of exploration.
Yeah, and I think that path of exploration and competition are all related to one word, and I'd love to get your perspective on that. And that's pursuit in relation to your own potential, right? So in competition, some people are in pursuit to beat people. But the word pursuit to me really resonates when I'm feeling your frequency, and I listen to your podcast and what you do in volleyball as well, right? So why is it that people feel alive when they're in pursuit?
They're just so present, like the presence, because when you're not present, you're starting to question stuff, and you're starting to you're going down this like up and down roller coaster of emotions. But when you're so present, I just interviewed Dane Blanton, 2000 Olympic gold medalist in beach volleyball. And he talks a lot about the presence of, like, okay, just imagine yourself in the Olympic gold medal match, right? You're just surrounded by thousands of people and cameras, and the whole world is watching. And how to find presence in that moment, right? And he talks about, so I would say, finding that presence where like the whole world kind of stops and you're just kind of just in it. When you're in the pocket like that, I think that's when you can really identify what your goals are. What your true goals are, not your perceived goals. What your mission. That's why I love learning from you, David, because you talk about that a lot. Your mission. That's a deeper frequency than a goal. Identify how to be present, whether it's meditation or whether it's sports or whether it's music, there's all kinds of different mechanisms to find that presence. But that is key for me. I've been doing some meditation in the morning, and it's just kind of transformed my life, but definitely talking to all these champions and people who have different approaches to their own finding their presence, finding their frequency. It's incredible. I would also suggest to aggregate information from champions within your own game.
Yeah, I love within the game, right? Is the podcast and what you're doing, which is
Yeah.
aligned and synergistic to we're all working and with sports and business and all the areas that you are. The other interesting thing too is that, when you start a podcast, right, you have your own business and your own mission. Now, I want to make one point lesson for everyone about a mission. For years, I had a mission statement, and I should have called it a marketing statement, because it was more about overselling, back-end selling, manipulating, lying, and cheating, about leveraging relationship capital and this and numbers. And, it looks like the people that in their signature line, I laugh now, people have like the longest signature lines. It's so ridiculous. Top this, best this, beat this. Like it's like a list of. It's not your signature is supposed to be the identity of you. That's why I changed my list of bragging of what used to be called a mission statement, which was to me a marketing statement, to just res ipsa loquitur, which means that which speaks for itself. That's what a mission should be, not a marketing statement. And that's where, one of my mentors, my business partner, Warren Moon, when he read my long paragraph, which I thought was a mission statement, he goes, "This is a marketing statement." He said, "What does this mean?" "Oh, make a lot of money, to help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun." Now that's a mission, or to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. A mission. But to coalesce the vapors of human existence in order to create a viable and logical conclusion by leveraging relationship capital of the biggest sporting events in the world, that's a marketing statement.
Right.
Not PR. Don't live in PR, live in the truth. And one of the things that I love about podcasts, and you, I think, share this vision, is you're using your podcast like Napoleon Hill used Carnegie to travel around and gather all the great information from the brightest people on earth, right? And people ask me all the time, I don't know how my podcast blew up so big and everything, because I literally was just trying to gather mentorship for free, right? I had all these great relationships, and I'm like, damn, if I can get them to come in with their own egos and promote whatever they want to promote, their charities, their business, or their podcast, within the game, by the way, check it out. I can learn
Thank you.
from you. That's why I got Aaron here right
Yes.
now. What type of advice do you give? Podcasts are probably one of the fastest things that people creating. What advice would you give them about starting a podcast and creating an objective or a mission combined with the podcast, not just creating a podcast to be famous?
4 for 4. Amazing question. Um, I would say two things come to mind. Number one, reach out. I reached out to you for 2 years, man. On DM, I was just like, hey, what's up? I love your everything about you. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you, and it took, another friend of ours, another contact, Sue Enquist, to kind of bridge the gap. I interviewed her, by the way, and yeah, shout out to Sue. She's incredible. And our interview was amazing.
Check out Sue Enquist if you haven't. She's the John Wooden of the NCAA. Most people don't even know has more victories than John Wooden, UCLA softball
11.
coach. Extraordinary. 11.
Yes,
My lucky
yes.
number. Yep.
11 championships, 10 as a coach, one as a player. So I was gonna say, definitely reach out. Even when you don't get responses, that's okay. You tweak your messaging a little bit, you tweak your strategy a little bit, but you always talk about that pursuit, right? You just stay on it, and then the other thing I was gonna say was, I think it's really, really, really important to have a foundational mission, because your mission can kind of slightly change, right? You're going to make pivots. You're going to go left and right a little bit. But the foundational mission, which I got to interview you for the podcast, which was like a dream come true. And I appreciate you for that. But one of the main messages that you said in our talk was, Aaron, I want to inspire 1 billion people on the planet. And I was kind of taken back from that. I was like, whoa, like that's lofty. Like that's a lot, but it's freaking awesome. Like that's just like very rarely do you hear that from somebody, like, hey, I want to inspire 1 billion people, because after 1 billion, then what's that?
I said I had the math to prove it. You're going to be one of my 1,000. That made it easy.
That's right, and I already told you that I'm in, because I bought into that, because that's awesome. But once I was gonna say, once you reach 1 billion, then I think you said you reach critical mass, and then the planet starts to change, and then we actually experience positive change, right? I just love that, man. Like that, to me, that's a foundational mission, And so once you identify that and you really like drop into that, then everything else kind of like it becomes a little bit more like, oh yeah, I want to talk to this person, because that person can actually be another ambassador for that mission, and then that person can lead me to someone else. And then it's not just about people, it's about things as well. It's like, you know what, that thing actually doesn't identify with my foundational mission, so I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna pivot, so I love mission. And to answer your question, going back to anyone who wants to start a podcast, doesn't have to be a podcast, but I think podcasting is great, because it allows you to explore these missions, right? Foundational missions, as well as like goals, but yeah, to identify an opening. I was going to say that, I actually wrote that down here. Like I found an opening in sports, because I looked around. Like I said before, I love to compete. I love to win. I've experienced winning. I've also experienced losing. But to me, it's deeper than both those things. Winning and losing are the small part of sports. The bigger part of sports is like there's so many life lessons. There's so many things that you can take from within your own game and take them outside your game and start to inspire more and more people and start to really use the foundational mission to move forward in life.
That's awesome. And I think just to give a little bit of a nuance as well, we're talking about toughness and telephone today in my training at 11, but part of that toughness is being humble enough to know that I'm going to keep on asking, adjusting, but you're also growing. So, I know,
Yes.
a lot of the top podcasters, interviewers, TV shows, my own PR people didn't understand when they're like, hey man, why don't we try to get on Rogan? I said, because I'm not ready. Right? It would do me no good right now until I get to a frequency where I actually can speak to that large of an audience, right? That I can have not only a powerful signal, but a wide enough spectrum that it would mean something, and it wouldn't just be a little bit of a blip. Now, and I learned that because I have such extraordinary relationship capital, I was able to get to really big places and no effect, right? No effect at all. And
Right.
when out there trying to get to certain people and certain, why not be a little bit on the humble side? Don't quit, keep on asking, but they may actually know when it's best for you, right? They may
Mm-hmm.
actually care. And really what I look at is people kind of come at me and I'm watching, we do due diligence. I learn it and I want to communicate to people. I'm like, hey, wait till you have, if you use me as your first podcast guest, I'm not going to help. It's not going to help you, right? But get into it and get an audience, and all of a sudden you tell them I'm coming. Now you'll double your audience. And if you
Right.
double your audience with people, that doesn't have a great effect. But if you're to the point where you got 20,000 people, and I can come on and bust you up to 40,000, when do you want me to come on? I know your ego tells you I want you first. When you're ready, and you want Gary and Marcus and all my friends when you're ready, and they'll be there for you, because that's the way we grew and that's the way we want to help other people. So definitely check out Within the Game. Check out Aaron. He's an amazing guy. Obviously, he knows a good question when he hears one as well. Don't forget, we're sports guys. Come to my training. Aaron will be there 11 a.m. today. Toughness and Telephone. Any last parting shots, my friend?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing. One of the reasons why I identified with you right away a couple years ago was I felt three things from you through your content. Okay, I felt love, kindness, and clarity. And those three things made me want to learn more from you, want to reach out to you, So I appreciate that from you, because that's what I'm trying to do, and I recommend to any content creator or anyone out there, those three things are so simple: love, kindness, clarity. If you start from that point, then you can just blossom out and ripple out from there.
You got it, my friend. I could have said it better myself. Thank you so much. We'll do this again. We got more platforms to speak on. We got some great comments. People love you. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime, Aaron. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Aaron Wexler, you got it. All right. I think I'll take one more question for good cause. Join me today, 949-298-2905. Get a free book. Come to my free training. Get a free guide. Doesn't matter. It's free. Come join me, David at DeeMeltzer.com. DeeMeltzer.com/training. Go ahead, make the request. DeeMeltzer.com/book. All free. I'd love to have you. We're going to talk about toughness and telephone. I'm going to teach you to be tough, to live in the try me world, and how to use a telephone to be passionate, purposeful, and profitable. Those two things are the most underutilized things right now. They're the things that we're missing the most in order to be passionate, purposeful, and profitable and feel successful. You can distinguish yourself in a very competitive world by understanding toughness and telephone. I'm going to take one quick last question, and we will move on to 11 o'clock. Working for it. Let's see here. Trying to make sure. Let's go here. What if you are transparent and clear and others still seem confused? All right, Kate. That's always going to happen because of frequency. People can only be aware of that which vibrates equal to or less than you. So you got to continue to practice what you say. It's not what you say, it's what they hear. So even if you feel as if you're transparent and clear, stick to the transparency, but continually to ask questions why you're not clear. I had a conversation today with one of my employees, and I have an overlap agreement. And an overlap agreement says, hey, look, I can't guarantee profitability. Right? I cannot guarantee profitability, but I'd like to help you. And so what I'll do is, in the course of my day, anything that overlaps my day, I'll keep you in mind. And if I'm able to make an introduction or to procure an opportunity for you, then you could pay me on performance. But I can't have scheduled calls and be a consultant and do all the things with my time, because I have to share it with everyone else to establish my mission of making money, helping people, and having fun, of empowering over 1 billion people to be happy. And so if I can't guarantee profitability, I have this. Well, I've been saying this for 6 months. And yet the questions that I got in the conversations I have is that there's no clarity in what that is, an overlap agreement. It's not what I say, it's what they hear. So make sure that you continually and consistently communicate again and again. Ask the questions for stable data. Do you know, what does that mean to you? Explain it back to me, right? So not only do you have open and closed-ended questions, but have them summarize to you what you think you said to them. you'll be amazed at the disparity of what you say with clear and transparent intent and what they receive. Great advice for the day. Come join me today, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 949-298-2905. David at dmeltzer.com, dmeltzer.com /training or /book. Just register. It's all free. If you can't make it, register. We'll send you the guide and the replay and the book. Go ahead. More people watch it on replay than live anyway. It's Friday, for goodness sake, and everybody's starting to open up and go to the beach and have vacation time. So just please take a listen at one time or another. Everybody, most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. See you at 11 a.m. Pacific time today.